it's Dana Brooks of Basic Brooks Law Offices, and you are back for our first in-person live-ish EmPower Hour, brought to you by the EmPower Plant. We have got a guest today. Now, I feel bad because I've been pumping her up all week, and people are going, ooh, what does she do? Why is she crazy? Why is she act? She's not. I just wanted to get a lot of engagement for this post. No, I'm kidding. She is an exceptionally funny person. She's off the charts smart, and she proliferates. She made a bunch of smart children. She is a friend of mine going back, I'd say probably 7 years. She was really there for me. She's a girl's girl. She was really there for me in a difficult part of my life, and we grew closer. And I just love her. I don't get to spend enough time with her. So when she agreed to be on the EmPower Hour today, I was like, yay, and everybody else was too. So welcome, Katherine Viker.
Thank you. Since there was, we don't know what's going to say, what's going to come out of her mouth, I thought I would start with a disclaimer.
Okay.
For my husband for Christmas. Don't make me go all Beth Dutton on you.
Ooh, girl.
Okay. Now for the uninitiated, like I was 30 minutes ago, please explain.
Beth Dutton is a female character on a show called Yellowstone.
Yep.
And she is fiercely loyal. She is a powerhouse. She takes no stuff off of anything or anybody. She weaves a web of profanities like an art form. I consider her my master. She's quick-witted. She's funny. She is rough around the edges, which I greatly appreciate. And she's my hero.
I love it. Whenever I heard a couple of quotes attributed to her, I'm like, now I'm going to watch the show. Because I've been kind of on the fence about it, but I'm like, no, it sounds like there's somebody Dana and Katherine would relate to. I want to welcome you, Katherine, and I want to introduce our panel real quick for our first show of the new year. We have got Kia Thomas back, and she is in our marketing department. She makes all this happen, keeps in touch with everybody. So when you see her emails and texts and stuff, know that she's coming from a good place. So read them.
Always.
Welcome, Kia. What are you looking forward to in our show today?
I'm ready to be surprised. I feel like that's what's going to happen, and I'm going to get educated on many levels.
Yeah, buckle up.
So I'm ready for it. I have it. I'm buckled. I'm ready. I forgot my easy button to kind of censor her. It was in my car. I can't run to it now. So
no. It's like I tell people every time. You want the rules on a podcast? Make your own. This is mine.
There you go.
And we are about to turn this into a podcast. We like the Facebook Live, and I like the visual and everything, but we're about to do that. Greg Bird is one of our producers here in the firm. He produces Come Back Stronger, and he and Whitney Morris, producer of EmPower Hour, are getting together. So we're going to make this available on Apple and Spotify and those sorts of things. So be looking for that. We're going to be launching that probably February 1. So that'll be exciting. You can get all these good episodes that you've missed. You can get them now on YouTube, or you can go to the EmPower Plant or Basic Brooks Facebook pages and watch and get the archived episodes there. Let's see. We have got Whitney Morris, our producer, on. Whitney,
hi.
Do you know Katherine?
Hi, I'm probably about as long as you have, right?
Yeah.
We've known Katherine a minute, and I've loved every second around her, of course.
Yes. And she is a badass bitch.
But yeah, I'll tell you what, has anyone else rusty? I feel so rusty. It's been a while.
In a minute.
It's been a minute. I don't know how to act. How do we
get back into it?
I should be telling you.
No, this is, I always wanted the EmPower Hour to be, just sitting around, like if we were at the house, we're having a happy hour, just straight talk about all the things that we've experienced and that we can contribute to help empower other women. I want to talk to Rose Caswick about something I've already been sipping on. What was that, Rose? Drink of the week.
Oh, this was my, so I should wait, but this was my college drink of choice.
So yeah, it's been a minute. So I was struggling to find an inspiration for our drink this week. Like, who should we do? And Keisha, I was talking to my paralegal Keisha, and she was like, do Kim Kardashian. What's her favorite drink? According to the internet, Kim Kardashian's favorite drink is a White Russian. So we are doing a classic White Russian today, because who has, a crazier life, a crazier career, as many kids, as many swear words, as many things going on as Katherine Viker, probably Kim K. So
Yeah, you two, I put you in the same class. Thank
Can
you
we
for
cheers?
that,
Can we
Rose.
cheers to a Kim K?
Here, let's do a cheers to Kim. I really like her.
I love her.
I really do like her.
I love
She's
her.
strong. She's got it together. She is people don't think she's self-made. You just
industrious.
don't understand Kardashians. They are.
Yeah.
So
I
just love it.
have this full theory that anybody who hates on them, which is a lot of people, they're just jealous.
I mean, there's a factor to that, I'm sure.
Well, apparently this
I
is
would
how
like to
you
be a
get
billionaire
curvy figure.
too.
Apparently this is how you get those hips.
Hello. Oh yeah.
There's some
Yeah,
there's
very
a
hip.
whole full cream, heavy cream in there.
Drink the cream.
Those
I
hips.
need that. I've had 6 kids. I still look like a boy, straight down. I look like Fred Savage. And
We're gonna get
Girl,
you your
stop it.
osteoporosis and your hips taken care of.
You know, you brought it up, lady. Tell me about your youngins.
my 6 beautiful babies.
Yay.
I'll tell you what, if there's one thing that I knew that I absolutely wanted in life, it was a lot of kids and I wanted a lot of animals,
Rude.
which is exactly what I have. I have exactly what my Barbie had. So I have a theory. Whatever your Barbie does is what you're going to do.
That makes sense because I have a Barbie story.
You got your dream house. You got your.
I had my dream house, and then I did a pimp my ride like, oh gee, I did it before there was one. I took styrofoam. I made her this RV. Her and the kids were like gypsies with the horse and all the animals.
Yeah.
And she didn't have any husband. I don't know how the kids got here. I hadn't worked that out yet.
She just went through kids.
They come, you know.
I just did. So
Yeah, that's
I
still
didn't
my
have
plan.
a husband with my Barbie, and I've spent most of my parenting time as a single parent, but I've been very lucky to have men that were great to co-parent with. So I've decided to marry again, as you had pointed out. He's wonderful.
Hey.
My Barbie's defense, I will say she was never going to date anybody who wore an ascot like Ken. It just wasn't going to happen.
No.
Yeah, you
Well,
gotta
it
find
just
the
depends on
right
which Ken.
Ken.
Yeah. Because some of the Kens, you know, remember the 70s Ken, he had the hair and you could put on his beard or take it off. I was heavily into Barbies. And I honestly did end up having her life pretty much. So watch what you let your little girls play with.
See, there's merit to my theory.
Your Barbie right here.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we've talked about, let's see, you just recently got married. Tell me what it is like to remarry at this point in because your career's on fire. Catherine's an employment lawyer and she's done other types of law too. And in fact, I want to talk about some of your cases to the extent that you can, because I know some are pending, but she's also in the field of, I don't know how to describe it. Whenever people sample people's music, but they sample too much.
Yeah, copyright infringement.
Copyright, intellectual property or trademark, all that kind of stuff that people, you know, who are much more into that than I am know about. But you are into a couple of things. You do employment law, but let's talk about that just for a minute from an empowered woman's perspective. I asked you before, I said, I would assume a lot of your clients are women, just because that's the way the world works. Who gets screwed in the employment arena? It's usually women, but you said not necessarily. Tell us about what you do and the kind of people that you help.
We focus on civil rights violations, discrimination based on, you know, the Title VII, the race, age, gender. It's now expanding into sexual orientation.
Mhm.
So a lot of my clients are not women. They are men who have experienced various forms of discrimination. And I love what I do. People choose their job, and you choose it in this country, not because the government has told you what you're going to become, but because this is what you're called to do.
Mm-hmm.
So when you give your blood, your sweat, your tears, and someone dismisses you because of something you cannot control, your race, things of that nature, or your personal religion, then it's more than just an attack on how you provide for yourself and your loved ones. It's a character assault. And all the time I hear clients say, I can't believe how upset or depressed I am. There's a reason. It's more than just money. So I love what I do.
And you're so good at it. You know, Rose, you're also an attorney. We represent people who have been injured, and sometimes there is a little overlap in the employment situation. What are your thoughts on that? You kind of also do that to some extent. You know, Catherine, she's been in our lives for several years. What are you thinking as she is our guest this week, and what would you like for her to talk about?
Yeah, I've dabbled in employment law, I would say, and I know enough to know what's not a case. But I guess talk to us a little bit about what is a case? What are the protected classes? Like, just because someone's an asshole to you at work, that does not give you a claim, right? It's got to
Yeah.
be based on something specific.
No,
And
you're
so many times that really is what it is. You work for an asshole.
Absolutely. You know, being an asshole was a crime. I would have been strapped to Old Sparky decades
We would
ago.
all be.
You'd be doing hard time, lady. No, I'm kidding.
Oh, yeah, I'd be a lifer at the very least. So it is more than that. And protected classes are going to be based on your age. It could be based on your race, your religion, something that falls within Title VII or Chapter 760. So that makes you a protected class. And then it's that you've been discriminated against, unequal pay, things in that nature. And it can also be because you've reported something, a violation of a law, rule, or regulation. So that's, you know, retaliation. And you can also receive retaliation for reporting discrimination. So that is the things that we are looking for in a case. And it needs to be more than, you know, my boss is an asshole to everybody.
Yeah, if you're trying to claim something that you're entitled to, like workers' comp or leave or something like that, that can be
those are also, yeah, you know, violations for filing a workers' comp claim is something that we do, or, you know, violations of FMLA claim. Things
Now,
like
I don't want to cut you off, but I do want to make sure people know how to reach you, because we get a lot of calls about these questions, and a lot of people do want answers, especially, and I want you to talk about this, regarding COVID, what they can do to you, what they can expose you to, what you can do to protect yourself. Can they fire you if you're not comfortable coming to work, or with their, you know, no mask procedures? But first of all, how do they contact you if they want to run these cases by you? And number two, talk about how COVID affects employment.
The best way to reach me is just at Maria Maddox, PA, email. You can call the office. And the laws with COVID they're very dynamic right now. And actually, that's an area that Jim Garrity really focuses on, of anyone in our
One of your
office.
law partners.
Correct. And
Yeah.
he can also be reached the same way. But they are dynamic. And so we're seeing them kind of ebb and flow. At one point, you're allowed to require vaccinations. And the last thing I had seen pop through, and I haven't read it yet, I've had a busy week, indicated that was not going to be the case. So as this virus is developing and so rapidly, the law too is dynamic, and it's usually a catch up.
Yeah.
So, you know, you don't, somebody at some point left the screen up that keeps the sun from coming in. So we have to go and change it so that you need to put a sign that reads, you know, remove before driving, things that seem kind of simple.
Yeah. Protect me from myself.
Mm-hmm.
That is fascinating. But I want to put the number in first. Is it 850-383-3800?
4800.
48.
4800.
Okay, everybody remember that if you need to get in touch with them. Kia, what are you thinking about as you learn more about my dear friend Catherine and her experiences? We'll get a little bit more into her personal adventures later. But just from an employment law standpoint, as an empowered female lawyer, and tell me if I'm wrong, Catherine, but you got a lot, you go up against mostly men, don't you, on the defense side?
Outside of town, yes. I would say within Tallahassee, I do get to deal with a lot of women, probably 40%, and I'm very, very fortunate. They're wonderful.
Love having a woman on the other side.
I love that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
What are you thinking, Kia?
I'm thinking, because we kind of know what our processes are here with personal injury, like how long the turnaround is going to be on most cases. But what's I guess you can say, the baseline of a actual turnaround for those cases? Because I know that I'm sure when they're approaching you, they're wanting things to hurry up, you know, as quickly as possible. So what is the normal process? How long?
Generally, from when you first come into our office, you can expect about a couple years. There are requirements, notices of intent that need to be filed, EEOC charges, depending on the defendant, what the claims are. That's as much as a 6-month process before we can even begin to file. And then, you know, we have to wait for them to be served, answers, you get a trial date, and then you start to move. COVID has certainly inhibited that quite a bit, actually. So we had our court systems shut down. So right now people are experiencing, and I expect in your field as well, they're experiencing a longer wait time. It's frustrating for all of us, especially when we're contingency fee like we all are, because this is how we get paid.
Yeah.
So, and there may be people who don't really appreciate what we do, but you don't have to thank me if you're on the defense side, but respect the fact that I keep your lights on.
Correct.
Thank you, sir.
Thank
you, sir. What you going to defend if I ain't suing people? What you going to defend? Nothing.
Yeah,
Know your
You got
place.
nothing to do.
Know
You
your
are a
place.
contract lawyer if I don't sue people.
Yes.
Okay. You know what I wanted to also talk about this, money. I wrote about this, which I just happen to have right here as a copy of my book. But I write about it in the book, but I'm talking about, because I was so pissed off at the Kavanaugh hearings. And I'm furiously fed up with the first refrain, when a woman reports something you all know is happening. So don't with me. Don't. You've seen it. You've done it. It's happened to people you know. So acting like, I had no idea this was going on and I'm highly suspect of the accuser. Stop it. You make me sick. You know what's happening and you're not doing anything about it. So you're part of the problem. That's number one. Number two, when they do get the gumption to call you and do something about it, do they really make gazillions of dollars? Do they really get book deals? And do they go on Oprah and then she turns them into a multimillionaire or what? Because what I talk about in the book is like, let's think about it. Let's say you lost $100,000 a year job from something actionable, like you're talking about, not just asshole boss. You get recovery for that. You got to pay a lawyer. Best lawyers in the world don't work for free. Come on, we got to eat. And then you've got to possibly pay income tax on that because you're getting compensated for lost wages. Plus, you've already found another job because you have to eat. Okay, your kids have to eat. So you've already begun to mitigate those damages, but there's nothing comparable about it because whenever you leave a place of employment and start somewhere else, oh my God, you got to work forever to get back to where you were. You lose all the institutional knowledge, you lose all the network and the ends of the connections you had made in that environment that were a track to your future success. You may have lost contact with clients. You may have a 2-year non-compete. There could be all kinds of things that happen. So when you just get that check for the job you lost, a year of wages or whatever, that doesn't even begin to compensate you. So I would like for you to talk about just the unfairness and what you are not able to do by using the legal system to help your clients become whole.
One of the remedies that you can seek is reinstatement. So you can come back, but usually by the time you are there and you've gone all the way through a trial, the damage is done.
Yeah.
And you're right. It does carry sort of a stigma with you moving on. You're capped in some cases, like with the state. So, we've had one case where the jury awarded just over $1 million, but we're capped at the state. So you have to go and get it. So you can even win big and still really not.
Yeah. Does everybody understand that a verdict is not at all a guarantee that the injured person will get the money the jury wanted them to have? And you said you're capped at state and you're talking about, like we live in Tallahassee, a lot of people are state workers. So whenever they sue a sovereign, your state is a sovereign, there are limitations on both what they can recover in damages, the money, and what you as a lawyer can receive in an attorney's fee, which makes it harder to find a lawyer because it's just as much work, only instead of 40%, you're getting 25%. Can you speak to that, the frustrations there?
There are some frustrations, and I think that's kind of where the rubber meets the road for what I do, and choosing this and believing in this type of law and getting joy out of that, as opposed to a law that would potentially be more lucrative. So, if you've got, let's say, a broken arm from something, that's going to carry with you for life. So if you're suing an insurance company, let's say, you can have a mortality table that'll take you all the way to the end. But in employment law, you are expected to mitigate those damages and you're expected to get a job and try to get a job. And unless you can show that your employer is continuing that retaliation and stopping you from getting a job, you got to be able to show the jury, listen, I really did try. Right. So it doesn't carry you for life. These are not cases that people get rich on. You're not set up for life. And as a general term, I mean, it's got to be super, super egregious. So we choose this.
And you got to have somebody who's got some damn money.
You got to have
not everybody's Harvey Weinstein.
Or has insurance, or yeah.
And insurance a lot of times won't pay for intentional bad acts. So that's a minefield you're walking through to make sure you don't
Absolutely.
need it in a way that the insurance will cover it if they do have it.
Yeah, if they do, there you go. So
Yeah.
there's plenty of places that it can work against you. But at the end of the day, if I can restore someone's dignity, if I
Yeah.
can give them back, it's something that says, this makes me feel that my name has been cleared.
Yeah.
That's why we do it. We're really passionate about what we do. Me, Marie, our whole team, and I'm very lucky to get to work with absolutely incredible people.
I agree. I know all of your partners, and they're extraordinary, exceptional people, and they go up and they get their nose bloodied for their clients all the time, and they keep coming back and doing it again and again because you're doing God's work. It's another byproduct of this, what I call, this male dominated world that's still running the shots. Like women are in the marketplace, in the workplace right now on the same level that they were in like 50 years ago or something. That's not good. That's not good. And you can't just go, oh, well, they'll stay back because of COVID and they'll help their kids or whatever, and they'll re-enter the workforce later and they'll be fine. No, everybody who stayed in the workforce is that much further ahead of them. And so that's just one more mountain to climb. And then of course you haven't been keeping your skills up, you're aging, all those things that make it harder to compete are happening to women by removing themselves from the workforce, whether it's because of a pandemic or because some asshole employer made it to where they couldn't go there anymore. They couldn't go to work anymore. So now they've got what I'd say 5 years it takes you to probably get back to where you were whenever you lose a position like that. So I rail against it. It's just one more thing that keeps women, other minorities down and keeps the dominant power in force. So I'm not here for it. I'm so thankful that there are people like you and Jim Garrity, Erica, everybody, Marie at the firm. I thank you for what you do.
Yeah, I'm very fortunate with the people I work with.
Whitney, I saw you shaking your head when you were talking about some of the stuff she said. You were like, yes, girl. What are your thoughts for Katherine today and what we're talking about?
If I get too involved, I'll start screaming. No, but
It's infuriating.
That especially you kind of got me on the Kavanaugh stuff, and it's right. I mean, we all see it. Everyone knows about it. I mean, if you've ever worked in an office environment, I mean, people aren't quiet. People gossip. People don't just sit at their desk 24/7 and just work. I mean, that's
everybody knows this happening.
Blood grab. We've all had to kind of like scare it away. At least my generation. I hope it's better for you, Whitney.
It's hard to monitor yourself. I think you want to stand up and do the right thing and fight for justice, but oftentimes you'll get punished for that. What like Dana was saying.
Absolutely, that's real.
You miss out on opportunities.
Balance that, absolutely. But I'll tell you what, I've gotten bolder as I've gotten older. I've had very inappropriate things said and done, in my younger days. I didn't sit, but I'll tell you what, grab me by the hoo ha. You better be right with your God.
Oh, honey.
I know you do.
You're about to meet your maker.
I do have a question, Katherine, though. I know we can't talk in too much detail, but was there one case, because this is all about ingredients for being a badass and empowering women. Even if it isn't a woman, your client, but was there one case that just really made you proud of the outcome and you have a personal connection, something like that? Yeah,
I do. To my understanding, I was the first person, and I could be wrong, that when we changed an ordinance here to include transgender people, that I brought that one of the first EEOC charges.
You did.
And we did settle. You and I had discussed that, and I have a beautiful client that worked, and whenever she would identify with her true name, they would put back to the one on her birth certificate. When she came to work, she was always there on time. And then 18 months into her employment, she went to a Christmas party dressed as her true self because the uniforms were gender neutral. And a couple of days later, she was terminated. So when we were able to do this and settle out of court, she came and sat on my back porch with me, and we just cried because she said, thank you she said, I wasn't going to do anything. And you gave me back my dignity. You made me realize I have nothing to be ashamed of, because she was suffering from comments within her own family that was, if you can't come to the family function without playing dress up, don't come. And that beats a person down.
Yeah.
It really does, because you do the support of someone. And so I was able to be that person. I'm like, you'll be here for my Thanksgiving. And we've stayed in touch. I've kept her. She is so beautiful. But that is probably the one that I am the most proud of, because what it did for her, it allowed her to move and start her life over. And that's the one that makes me beam.
That's
I
something
got chills. I got chills. Oh.
that's
Awesome.
local, right? That's not state law or even federal law. That's
It's changing. Okay, so we're growing, but at the time, yes, it was local. There were a few other counties, but we're growing as a nation. We're learning. We're doing.
Yeah.
like,
I think Leon County was one of the first. I think honestly, Rose Gator. I believe Alachua. I believe Alachua was first.
Alachua, Leon, the place
Yeah.
where the schools are.
Yeah. Where the intellectuals are, where the highly evolved, educated people are. Of
The
course, we would be the leaders.
Yeah.
Big brains. Okay.
Big care, big brain.
All right. Now we've got to get into some tea now, because I built you up and you've been very professional so far, and I'm going to lose people.
I was gonna say the same thing. I don't know.
We need to break. We need to break that egg.
Good
All
job, guys, staying on the view.
Enter at your own risk.
Yeah.
I'm not paying for anybody's therapy for what happens.
If you get offended, that's your own problem. We warned you. How
Yeah,
didn't
you've
we
been
warn
warned.
them? Didn't we
I
warn
told you
them?
we're gonna get into it.
Catherine,
it.
If the word bitch is in the promo,
Yeah.
I
we need to
mean,
deliver. We need to
I will
deliver.
do my best to. There's two places
Okay.
people see me be very, very respectful, and that's in front of a cross or any deity, because I don't believe in messing with the gods. Just it's.
Oh no, we
And
can't.
the other places as in front of the court, because
No.
they are gods in robes.
And believe it or not, some of them damn judges watch this.
Yeah, girl.
I love
No, I
you.
love my judges. We are very lucky. We got some good
Yeah,
judges. in
great
this
judges.
area.
No slander,
Yes,
no
we do.
slander.
You slander.
All right, well, let's get into the tea. Let's go.
Okay, I want to tell you this, a little backstory about her. She cracked me up. When I first met Catherine, it was no, I met you before now. I'd met you before, but got to
We met
know
over a
you.
decade ago, but we didn't really become friends until about 8
Yeah.
years ago.
Yeah, it was 2014, and I had just gone through a divorce in a 20-year relationship, and like so many women who don't feel empowered, my relationship was my universe. I didn't have a lot of friends. I didn't make them a priority. I didn't keep them up. I was trying to manage that household, work, run this firm, take care of our girls, launch our kids, and boom. Next thing I know, I got every kid out of the house, and I'm not married. And I'm like, I have an
Now you're
incredible amount
bragging.
of
You're
time
just
on my
bragging
hands.
at this point.
So you said, hey, let's hang out. And we started hanging out, and it was awesome. I will never forget how much she cracked me up one day. She was late to lunch and she had a baby, and he was barely walking. So she texted me, goes, I'm sorry I'm late. The baby's being a dick.
Yep.
And I thought to myself, who assigns such a mature behavior to an infant? But I'm like, a mother of 6 does that too. And this is not her only little boy, and she's tired of his shit. And so, I just loved it. I thought this woman and I are going to be friends. This woman and I are going to be besties. And we were so close, and we did so much together. I hate that we don't make the time. Okay, COVID or not, we need to make the time to see each other more. But I learned about you. You had a baby. You had 4 children that you have with your ex-husband, Doc.
Right.
And Doc is a superhuman dude. He's an A+ human. And you two, you really do exemplify what co-parenting is supposed to look like.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Tell me about it. Tell me how you do it. Tell me how you think it's helped your children.
I've been very fortunate to have 2 phenomenal ex-husbands. And I think part of my empowerment and being able to do as much as I have been able to do once I decided to go to work is that I had men that were supportive of that.
Mhm.
So, I loved Doc with all my heart and soul. I was devastated by the divorce. We both tried very hard.
Yeah.
And I would encourage people to explore every avenue so that if you can't reach a resolution, when you do part, you're able to do what I think we did, which was let go of the disappointment and the heartbreak, because it's real and we grieved, but you keep the good parts. And the foundation, the bedrock, the absolute cornerstone of our relationship had always been our friendship. And I consider him one of my best friends. I've set him up with friends, a mutual friend. I mean, I want nothing but his happiness. He's close to my husband. I'm close to my husband, the mother of his child. And I have been extremely lucky. And that, I think, has helped also launch me to be able to travel and to be able to, because many of my clients aren't here. So I am able to do things because I have a support system that includes the children's fathers that has just been phenomenal.
And it really does take a village.
It absolutely
I don't
takes a
care.
village.
I don't care if you're a stay-at-home mom and you have every resource available. It still takes a village. It takes pediatricians, it takes teachers, it takes helpers, it takes friends, sisters, aunts, parents. It takes a village to raise our children, and there's no shame in that.
And it's not attached to you 24/7. So
yeah. And I don't know, and so many people they don't shine in that environment when they're not achieving and accomplishing things that are personally enriching. I mean, it's almost, what is that little analogy? It's like, you can't keep pouring out of the pitcher without pouring something back in. And it's kind of like that. So
tend your own garden, as Voltaire said.
Yeah, I'm like, I guess you can't pour out of an empty cup. Is that what? Is that what?
There it
I
is.
like that.
Is that what you're saying? I'm like, what is she talking about?
Well, you know what I mean? It's like, you got to have somebody filling you back up because you're filling everybody
Right,
else's
Yeah,
cup.
I mean,
But somebody needs to
Voltaire
fill your
said, tend your own garden. So.
Yeah.
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 I want to say real quick, coming from the child's perspective, I was the child of the relationship, right? So my parents had a friendship. Like I don't have children. No.
You have 2 dogs as well.
But no, like having my mom and my dad be, on the same page on everything and be friendly and everything. And I'll be watching movies or seeing other people's relationships. I'm like, you guys are like, for what? Why are you fighting? It's not about you. It's about the freaking kid. Like, calm down. So
Well,
I never
honestly,
understood that.
it is all about them. Whenever that's happening,
Well, when they're in that
somebody's not looking at the kid. They're thinking about their own selves or their own pride. And we can't do anything with that. So it's very frustrating. And I know there's a lot of people watching this show who go, well, I'm glad for her. I'm glad this is happening. But that doesn't happen with me, or I'm trying, but the other person doesn't want to do it. It could be a man, could be a woman, could be whatever. Do you have any advice?
Oh,
on taking the high road?
Might be a better question for a family law lawyer. I had done some of that, so I'm not unfamiliar with the scenario. And to the best that you can, and you will fail. You will skin your knee.
You are going to fail.
You're going
to let your kids down. You are.
And you'll say something, you'll read it later and be like, that's funny, but it's mean as hell. It's still
Yeah.
funny.
I took a screenshot of it for my own
like something like your mom and her makeup, Bobo called, he wants his face back, something like that. Nice. So you'll fail. Try to do better. And maybe, after time, you want to revisit opening a door and seeing if a friendship, sometimes it works, sometimes it's not.
Yeah.
But don't be scared to try at a later date.
Yeah.
But
people change, people evolve.
Yeah, there you go.
They should.
But you should also spend time asking yourself, how did I get here? What was it about this? Because toxic bonding can be extremely, it's bewildering, powerful. It can be its own addiction, and it's real. And
it is.
See somebody you love that is struggling with that. The worst thing I think that you can do is say, I'm not going to hear this. I'm not going to watch you, something like I'm still going to be here for you. I love you and support you. Maybe get a third party to help you walk through it, because there's a reason that we choose negative relationships, and it starts with us. We're responsible. Our happiness is exclusively our responsibility. Don't go looking someplace. You decide every moment of every day. You decide, are you going to be happy or not?
Yeah. And how much am I going to let this person affect me? How much am I going to let something get inside my head? That's all control. It doesn't feel like it at the time. In fact, you feel very out of control whenever you feel yourself getting engaged and I literally will feel myself. I'll literally go, you're not in control here, Danes. You need to either step back or give this to somebody else or revisit it at a later date. So a lot of it's just, it's a lot, like you said, it's a lot easier to do as you get older. You know, some of the things Whitney struggles with, she'll tell me about. And I'm like, okay, I dealt with that. This is how to just do this. That's not going to work. Some of that stuff, you can't just do this. You've got to live it and figure it out for yourself. It's great to hear from other people and stuff, but when you're in the moment and with anything, whether it's anxiety over class or a relationship or a friendship, doesn't matter. When you're in the moment, it's very hard to step back. But just know that when you do, that there are people who are good friends who want to be there for you. Like Katherine has always been there for me, and I hope I can continue
vice
to do
versa,
that
vice
too.
versa.
That you can go up to them and go, hey, am I out of my ass here, or am I on the right track? What am I doing? So that's one lesson I have, an empowered lesson that I learned from my marriages and divorces, is be very careful making your marriage, your family, your entire life. Now, obviously it needs to be your focus, but you need some girlfriends now.
Yeah.
You need some people who you can go off the grid with.
Yeah.
You need women who or they can be men who aren't going to tell you what you want to hear. They're going to tell you what you need to hear. And you want to look at your friends. Your
Yeah.
friends
Not below your skirt.
you are.
No, you're gonna be speaking the honest truth from me.
Kia, you got your hand. What you think about?
I'm because this is good. I'm absorbing. It's but kind of segueing into what you just said, you know, you need those friends that are going to be honest with you. You don't need that circle that's going to continuously be like, yes, that's a great idea. When they walk away, it's like, that is
that person in the back
I hate that shit.
situation. You're not, don't look at yourself, girl. If your friends are not saying, maybe, let's analyze your part in this, or maybe you want to spend some time. Not your friend. That might be your drinking buddy, but it's not your friend.
Yeah.
I support you in everything you do, but maybe think about it.
Maybe you shouldn't have called him 37 times. Maybe that's fine.
Yeah, maybe.
But he would no, sweetheart. That was bad. But let's also not call him 37 times.
Don't chase a man into that cave. Don't chase him into that cave. They will bite you.
Don't.
Yeah, don't turn around and there it goes.
Now I want to, okay, now because this is an informational show and we're not just having a drink. Tell me how you deal with raising sons and to deal with this toxic masculinity that says this is what a man is. And if you don't meet this standard, you are not a man. How do you help them understand what it is to be a man? Because I will tell you this, in raising girls and being a girl, no one ever talked to me about being a woman. They talked to me about being a lady.
Oh.
But nobody ever talked to me about what it means to be an empowered, full woman. So you're raising girls and boys. Tell me both. Tell me how you deal with your boys and tell me how you deal with the girls.
There's each kid gets a different parent. Part of it is because
I like that.
Part of
because your kids are not the same.
They are. Every one of them is my favorite. And people say, which one's your favorite?
As an only child, I think that's a lie. I that's a lie. Y'all are
That's only because I told you you're not my favorite.
lying.
Only and not favorite. Sad.
You have 3 only children on this. No, we don't believe that.
No, you need to educate me, Whitney, my daughter, my only child, and Rose, who is an only child.
One and only.
One and done. They have different needs, and because I have had exceptional men in my children they're in age that would be developing like that. The older boys, there wasn't much for me to do. Their fathers led by example. They were always respectful.
Most important thing.
If my sons were disrespectful, they would be like, oh no. And I tried to also do the same. And that also carried not just to me, but for instance, my first husband, when he remarried, I was very supportive of the mother that was there as well. So I have been very fortunate thus far that I think that the men, and then my first son's father didn't live here. So I had really great guy friends, Mike and Paul, who helped, really raise Anthony. And they set a very good example for him as well. So if you don't have a partner per se, for whatever reason, have a role model, and a man, woman, whatever, but have somebody that can help you show them, this is this, and same for your daughters. Have male figures in their lives friends, relatives, whomever, that they can see by way of example. This is what you need to be looking for. And so too, you can point out when, you might have, I think we all kiss, the frogs. Some of us lick poisonous toads and trip.
I was about to say, some of us lick their faces.
Yeah.
Just checking.
You're a toxic frog.
But that is also a learning point too, to say, don't ignore your gut, don't ignore red flags. All of it can be used for a learning experience. But I do try to teach my boys that, there's women belong everywhere decisions are being made, to quote the great RPG.
That's exactly right. I love it. Kia, you've got boys and girls.
Yeah.
How do you deal with that, kind of thing I asked Katherine about is, how do you make sure you're raising good boys who respect and honor women, but don't look at them as I respect and honor them because they're weak and they need protection, but because they're their own people.
I want to speak on that one.
Go
ahead, Kia, please.
Just to segue on that, I think it's empowering them, letting them know that and Axel, he definitely knows I open the door for my oldest sister. It's not that she can't open the door herself. It's the fact that you're making sure that you are taking care of your sister, because guess what? When someone comes in, she'll know, well, if my brother does it, why can't you do it? Or if my dad does it, why can't you do it?
Right.
Same thing with telling, my daughters, hey, if you want to go play football, I'm here for it. Just know they hit, those type of things. Or if you want to go play basketball, I'm here for it. If you want to go and be the president of the United States, I am here for it.
Right.
I think like Katherine was saying, it goes back to those ingredients of us building those bold, strong, and confident children. Just letting them know that they can do it. Mom and dad will be here to back you. And that they're seeing those role models consistently, not just me, not just my husband, but, grandma and Gigi and
so
Big
right.
All of those different people that my brothers, all of those different people that are surrounding them, going back to what you're saying, Dana, as far as the village that's taking care of our kids, because we're trying so hard to make a life for them. And those times that we can't be there, the great part about it is having that village. I used to think about a lot of like moving away. Then I thought about it, I was like, I wouldn't have like grandma there. And that really helps a lot. And it builds character in your kids. So I think, Katherine, just to add on to that, you're building those strong and bold and confident children, because every child is not going to get the same. And I know they don't get the same mom all the time from me, different for each one.
Katherine, what did you wanted to say to follow up on that?
Some time ago, speaking about women and protecting us, I was watching some kind of documentary, and it was talking about how America has developed its drug laws. So first everything was open, and then there was a portion where they petitioned that white women needed to be protected from the opioid den. So it was based on discrimination against Chinese.
Against American women versus Chinese women. They were seen as expendable.
Then we had to be, we had to protect white women from marijuana Mexicans and the cocaine issues. And what I took away from that is that all white women are drug-addled whores waiting to happen. So it's offensive. It's just like pause on that for a minute. Why not all women? No, the earlier ones. And so to be used as an excuse to control an entire part of the population, I think is extremely offensive.
You know what, so much of what we talk about on this program, as I hear it, and as I hear what you just said, there are things that I don't think anybody would dispute. It just had never occurred to them. They just never thought to look at things this way, like what really happens when you lose a job.
Right.
Or what really happens when your children grow up in a home where they see the mother showing complete and utter deference to the man in every way. Because in my view, the woman in that home is just the elder child. She has a higher status and she's the one he has sex with. But she's not his peer. She's not his equivalent. She's not his partner. She's also subjugated under him. And so I think that's a very toxic environment, but it's what so many of us have been told is traditional and conservative. And I
Mhm.
don't like to diss people who have traditional conservative values. There's a lot of good things that come with it. It doesn't work for me,
Mhm.
but, and plus you can't slow progress. So it seems kind of futile. We're not going to stay the same. We're damn sure not going backwards. So what are you doing? To me, it's not logical, but I don't want to disrespect somebody else's core values, which is that this is the way a family system should work.
Right.
There's a hierarchy within a family, whatever. I don't believe that. I respect the people who do. I just want them to be enlightened and let that be an informed decision that they make. And we have that happen in our firm. We'll have clients come to us and, I've got so many women in this firm. Rose is one of them. I've got Kimmy Hogan. She couldn't be here today. I got Carrie Roan couldn't be here today, but they were so excited. They can't wait to watch this later.
Come on. I just
They
joined.
love you.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
Carrie
No,
could
I just-
not give up a moment with Katherine Viker. She had to come on.
Yeah.
I didn't
Yeah,
want to
She's
miss
just
it.
white hot. But I think about that. I think about when we come in here and we have clients who come in and they want to preserve that way of life. That's, they'll come in here, it'll be their claim or whatever, but they've got to talk to their husband first, or whatever. I want to be respectful of that while still empowering them, saying you could probably, seek his input just like you would anybody else who has a valid input, relevant input. But to turn over your autonomy and your decision making to somebody based on gender, that doesn't seem logical to me.
It's not the 70s. You don't need him to co-sign for you. So
Yeah.
Oh my God. Do you realize that since I have been alive, my 54-year-old ass, women couldn't even get credit. They couldn't even get a God blessed, you thought I was going to say something else, credit card without a husband's consent. I'm like,
Yeah.
what do I need your permission to spend money and pay it back for?
you can sign your own name, baby.
No, I'm not buying you anything with this. So why are you in this process? I don't understand it.
Buy your own hooker.
But you know what I mean.
Oh.
But Katherine, let's get back to things that are funny about you.
Oh, yeah. All right. We can talk about that.
Do we have any stories? I was thinking today, do we have any shareable stories?
None of my stories are shareable.
is-
Go with Katherine.
Shareable?
I mean,
Well,
oh my God. Well, you were at my Christmas party.
Uh-oh.
See, I'm already laughing. I can't even
Party.
finish the sentence. We had a Christmas party. Oh my God. I've had some Christmas parties and you were in the group back in the day. Those were
In the
outrageous.
room where it happened.
You're accused of what? Leaving out bongs for judges or something.
Yeah, bongs for judges.
Hashtag bongs for
It's called a
judges.
party favor, okay?
Wow.
Hey, I'm not going to be rude. Whatever your drug
Called
habit is, I
Southern
want-
hospitality.
but remember, this was some crazy shit. But you have been around, girl. You have been around and you have been a good friend. Carrie, you're on now. Talk to us. Tell us what you wanted to
Roan.
hear from Katherine about, or you got any anecdotes?
Hey, Ro.
Well,
Or your
I
face.
really I don't think anything that I have to say or share about Katherine is shareable. but she's so admirable because she's held it together so well throughout some very trying
you.
times of her own with respect to her own contentious divorce and child custody matter, and I admire her for that. And she always has a sense of humor, which I admire even more because God, I love somebody with a sense of humor, and
Oh, she's
she's just
hilarious.
a badass. She's just a badass.
That's
And-
what
and
I'm
I
saying.
wish so.
Katherine defines badass 100%.
You do. And I hate it because we can't really show you every example of why.
Yeah.
But your use of profanity is just, it's what people write.
But it's poetic.
Plays about.
Yeah.
It's poetic. It's
Very cautious today.
it can't be emulated. You can't just fake
Using
that.
language.
She's
for
holding
boys.
back. She is holding back. which
Oh,
I-
100%.
And you know what I love about her? I love about the fact that, there are so many women that go into our profession as lawyers and they feel like they have to conform into kind of
Yeah,
dressing like a
intimidated.
man and acting like a man and losing
Not
their
doing it.
personality and not, but Katherine brings her personality to the table, doesn't let it go. And she's such a unique person, and that makes her an even better lawyer. So
Sure
women
does.
need to
Scares
understand that.
Right there.
Plus she scares
know?
me. She scares me. And that's, I scare men. I love that. Professionally, it's great.
Scared.
I've heard that. So one story I can share
Yeah.
where I was feeling myself and a life lesson I learned. And then also how I put motherhood first, for which my children had zero appreciation. I have a dear
It'll take
friend,
years.
that was receiving an award.
Unsurprising.
So I flew out, I went to the party, and just before I went, his daughter, who's my heart, lived just my absolute sister from another mister. And I was talking and I thought it was just one of our typical get-togethers. And she's like, oh no, honey, you need to dress. So I have to borrow clothes. And I borrowed jewelry from Lisa Phipps jewelry, beautiful jewelry.
Oh, love it.
I get out there
She's
in
so
this white
talented.
outfit, and I go to this party, and there's celebrity, and I never walk around like, ooh, selfie, yeah, very
do.
holding it together. And I'm watching, people leave, and I'm getting ready to leave, and I'm thinking in my head, I'm going to call her and she's going to be so proud of me, and this is a woman who, had dropped out of high school, gone back in, had a baby young, kind of did some struggles, many of which were self-inflicted,
Yeah.
made it all the way through law school as a single mother, working, with a great firm, and now here that, not bad. I'm on my way to the restroom. So, and also, I have 6 children. So if I sneeze, it's a problem. I'm just gonna leave it.
Let's talk about pelvic floors. Let's talk about pelvic floors after children.
Right. Oh my God. So as I'm thinking this and on my way to the restroom, and I was like, she's going to be so proud. I've arrived. Never get ahead of yourself, because the universe went, passport to dignity denied. And it's amazing how fast your mind works when you're falling, because it was like this. And my foot's in one direction, my foot's in the other, and I'm like, that's going to be a break. And I hit every single stair on the way down. And you can imagine what happened on the way down. And I found myself in a puddle. And I was like, done. Absolutely. I was horrified at the time. Now I find it funny.
Oh my God.
Don't you
Again,
think?
I have a story about taking Ally, that over-the-counter medicine that takes the oil out of your
fabulous.
food. Watch that. Now I want to talk to you about this.
Look,
You have been, how old were you when you, I hope you don't mind. How old were you when you had your last child?
Oh, because Jesus is mean. I had a baby at 44 with a 2-year-old granddaughter. So I have an uncle baby.
Oh, yeah.
Uncle Baby, yeah.
Yes, she does. Yes, she does.
Too late. Never too late.
No, and she has this baby, and she has these, and so, but you, like so many of us do, you stayed out of the workforce to parent your infant for well, at least you weren't full-time in the workforce, correct?
That is correct. I was.
Yeah.
I knew I wanted to be a mother. That was something very important.
That's always been your priority.
That has always
Oh,
been my,
yeah.
and to sort of dovetail and to the end of that California story, I slipped and fell. I had an opportunity to stay and actually attend a Grammy ceremony, and I came home because the next day was Mother's Day.
Yeah.
And I got home and I told my kids about it, and they're like, "Are you stupid?" Because
You were at the Grammys. What are you doing? We're going to be here next week. Why are you coming back?
they were definitely my priority. But I made a choice. I made a choice to stay at home and to parent children the way that I wanted to. And I'm lucky that I have a flexible schedule and a flexible boss. And so my children are not latchkey kids. And, I've never had to do aftercare. And I'm grateful for that, because that's not always the case.
Yeah.
So I absolutely stayed out of the workforce, but I was 44 when the last one arrived. And
Yay.
sticks, and I'm like, well, that one's broken. That one's clear. This is a conspiracy. And no.
You were
No.
super fertile. Kia had that though. Kia, you had
Yeah,
a,
just had a
relates.
Yeah.
late term pregnancy.
Mhm.
I hate that they call it a geriatric pregnancy, but it is after
Exactly.
35, right?
I'm
Yeah.
still not 40 yet. It's just once you hit 35, you're geriatric.
You're
Yeah.
No, you're not. I don't know what kind of doctor came up with that.
You're
but I
Well,
would
it's
like
like
to talk to your
the
PR
PI
firm.
scale. It's like how
Yeah.
relevant is that? Yeah.
No, I hate that. Like I had a heart issue a couple of years ago, and I went into this doctor, and on the sign to his office, it read heart failure clinic. And I'm like, no, I'm here for heart health. And I said, and here's the other thing. Who was your PR person? Okay,
Right.
that's a fail. I said, and here's the other thing. People in this town know me as a medical malpractice doctor. So if I get seen in your waiting room at the heart failure clinic, I'm going to tell people I'm here to depose you. So
Yeah.
get your shit together and change your sign. Heart failure. No, I'm here for heart wellness, sir. No, forget
Sir.
about it. These people with the words.
The word.
Now you were out of the workplace for a while. You were a lawyer. going back in after 5 years, after 45, your late 40s, bumping up on 50. What was that like for you? And how did you make up the time for being out of the market so you could get to where you are? You had to take some risk. So tell us.
But my good friend that I had practiced against before Marie, I really got tired of her winning, so I just joined the team.
Yeah.
So
Yes. I got tired of writing that bitch checks.
So I started there and have just loved every minute of it. And I hit the ground running and I've never looked back.
Mhm.
It's been such a pleasure. It's been such a joy because I feel like I got to do it all at different times and at different levels. But I got to be the parent that I wanted to be, and I got to be home as much as I wanted to be. And now I get to practice law, and I'm not as young as I thought I was going to start with. But I got here, and it's just been it's absolutely Mr. Toad's wild ride. It
Yeah.
has just
Oh,
so
I love that. You know, Carrie, that makes me think of you because you were on the other side until you switched. And I don't know that I talked you into it. I always tell people I did. I don't know.
It was all you did.
But you identify.
Oh,
with our-
absolutely, 100%. Yeah. And I mean, you did talk me into it in the sense that I saw your lifestyle and your ability to balance, and you had a much better opportunity to balance life with work than I did, and much
Yeah.
more job satisfaction than I had.
Yeah.
So I'm proud that I had the courage to take the leap, and it does take a lot of courage when you get used to it. And I know Catherine's been through that too. It takes a lot of courage to stand up for what you think is right for you in the face of everybody else telling you that that's a bad move.
Right. Now, listen, y'all, we've only got 2 minutes, probably 3, because we started late, you know me. So I want to go around to the panel. I want to hear some last comments or questions for Katherine as we wrap up today. And Katherine, thank you for being here because you are always so much fun, and we try to make it helpful to everybody else. I hate those movies and those Zooms that you feel like you're watching an inside joke.
yeah.
I didn't want it to turn into that because I wanted to be
We
more
tried to
inclusive.
let you in.
But girl, we can have an inside joke conversation 100%. But no, let's start with Rose as we close.
Yeah, this really went by in a flash. I've enjoyed this whole hour. It doesn't feel like an hour. So I guess like our whole kind of overriding thing has been, how do you take care of yourself? Self-care with everything going on in your life. You've got more than anybody else that I know with kids and career and everything. So what do you do for yourself?
Let me interject. She also has a lot of animals, and she has chickens.
And chickens, yeah.
I do. I have a lot. That's definitely a place that I need to work on, and it's something I've been focused on a little more. I had COVID. I was exercising and focused on that until I got COVID, and I had a really bad bout. And then, despite monoclonal and having COVID and being vaccinated, I'm the lucky winner of a double dose of COVID, like a double dose.
It's coming for us all.
And I'm trying to make that a point and getting back into yoga. But I will tell you, COVID took a lot of that self-care away from me.
That saps your energy. Yeah.
I'm not a teacher. I'm gonna tell you, I'm not a teacher.
Oh my gosh, you're dealing with
Oh,
that.
honey, I forgot. You've got school age kids in your
Oh,
Yeah.
house.
Don't want
I
them
would
to
move out. I would
go.
sublease something. I would not live there.
I did not choose that vocation for a
Boarding
reason.
school, it is for y'all.
Sleepaway life. Not sleepaway camp, sleepaway semesters. That's what I would do. No, not
We're just gonna take a couple years off.
I would just pick the one I like the best, maybe two.
Go.
Yeah. No.
I'll see you
No,
at
that's 100%
Bye.
true. I'm sorry, I hate Zoom because we talk all over each other. But anyway, it's so important, Rose. Like you said, you've got to make time for yourself. And the more people, it's the picture, the empty picture, you got to make the time. I know it. Kia, what are your closing remarks and questions or thoughts today?
Well, one, thank you, because I think you have really educated people on that it's okay to come to you all and actually talk about something that is almost taboo, because no one ever wants to, go into the legal realm of having to pull that card and say enough is enough. So I truly thank you all for that. But what is your secret sauce? Like Rihanna, we want to know those ingredients for making you this BAB sauce. That's what we're going to call it.
Yeah.
Then we're gonna monetize it and make it candles and all this other stuff.
Make it
We're gonna have, like BAB on it, you know, all that great stuff. We're doing this, okay?
Yep.
That's a new
Yep.
hashtag. I'm
happening.
gonna circulate, Kia. Hashtag make it candles.
There you go. There you
I
go.
love it.
Next thing you know, you will have to have a Foursquare or Square card on your phone because people are going to be buying your merch. These two are going to make you into the original badass bitch. But you are. You
Yeah.
are a badass bitch, though. How did you get to the point where you just go, I'm done taking people's shit?
First of all, I was born missing the gene that made me, have any F's to give. I am certainly in a state of NFG. So the first thing you need to start, I think, in your ingredient is a very large iron cauldron. And then you throw in the most important ingredient, I think, is your passion. You've got to be passionate and know what it is. And it can't be everything. For me, it's my work and my children, my family. That is it. Take a little bit of NFG, stir it in. You want to be real careful not to take too much of the chip on your shoulder, but maybe scrape off just a little bit to remind you, kind of where you come from. Do no harm, but take no shit.
I love it.
About poetic right there.
And you know what I love about Katherine is her partner, her husband. He's a partner. He will build her up bigger and brighter and better than she will. And that's what every woman deserves. What's what every man deserves. Everybody deserves this. Everybody deserves a partner who is the head of their fan club. And you have that. I love Terry. He's a tremendously talented musician. Don't even get me started on that. I want him on here. Talk about how to get a band going. If you want to do it, get serious about it. Empowering. But you learn from all of your life experience, and you were judicious, and you took your time, and you found the right person for you. And I'm so happy for you. You had a beautiful wedding.
Oh, it was a lot of fun. I'll tell you what, I've noticed that the biggest change is that before we were married, I was just like,
don't tell me this man turned into a slobby asshole.
No, it's like, you don't have it.
Dana will come assassinate him. Don't say that.
And she won't be alone.
Man, Dana, he's still the hype man. He's still there, I think.
Yes, but I noticed after we're married, I gave more credence to his opinion. And what I have to brag on him for is that he never asked me to change my path. But he is appreciative that I will listen, but it's still ultimately my choice. And I love that about him.
Yeah. The right person doesn't demand change. The right person likes you just as you are and potentiates you in your dreams. I love that. I'm envious. I'll be honest with you. I'm envious, but I'm very happy for you. You deserve only the best. Whitney, how do you want to wind up today?
Oh, I just want to say I knew having Katherine on, because I've known her forever. It's just, I knew I was going to find out something that I wanted to know more, or something that unlocked something in my head. And I definitely want to discuss with you, Katherine, in a future date, this topic. I'm going to keep it, we don't need to go into it, but
let people know what you're thinking.
So good at keeping secrets, right?
No, just, along the lines of your priorities, how you got where you went, like, what your mind was thinking, and, just general stuff like that. But I that kind of popped in my head, but I knew that was going to happen. I knew something was going to pop up like that. So I think I'm so excited for you to come on. It was awesome.
Yeah. And you know what, you mentor people in your office. You've got law clerks, you've got people who work for you guys. I've always respected that about Marie Maddox in the law firm where you work. Marie has a heart that is bigger than Texas. She believes in people, and she, like us, this is something Facing Brooks prides itself on, is we believe in second chances. We believe in people growing and learning and becoming better. And we're certainly into people who give back and help other people come back stronger. You are one of those people. I love you to death. You're one of my A+ humans. I respect you. You've changed my life. I don't spend enough time telling people who matter so much to me how much they matter to me, but I love you. And you are wonderful. You helped me through some dark days, and I hope we will always be there for each other. So thank you for joining us. Katherine Viker with Marie Maddox Law. She's an employment lawyer. 850-383-4800. Reach out to her. If you don't know how to reach her, reach me, because I can get her on right now. If she's in a mediation, she'll call me.
We can text her.
No, seriously though. Thank you so much, Katherine. I love you. And let's get together soon. Let's laugh our asses off like we
Yes,
always
all,
do.
all the stories we couldn't tell here.
That's right. No, and if you DM us, we'll give you the
Yeah.
tea. So anyway, thank you all for joining us again for this first live episode of 2022, which is going to be better than anything you ever imagined for 2020 and 21 combined. This is the year to break out and get back to normal and reach your potential, seek your power, harness your power, and help other people. This is Dana Brooks, Facing Brooks, EmPower Hour, EmPower Plant. See you again next Thursday at 4:30 on Facebook Live. And this is about to turn into a podcast that you'll be able to see on Apple, be able to hear on Apple and Spotify and wherever the heck you get your damn podcast. So good night, everybody. We love you and we will see you next Thursday.